Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Kay, Nedum and Shaka, and it's the first time the three of us have all been on together since the disrespect from Nedum when he said that Shaka was old enough to be his dad. Nedum, would you like to apologise?
No, because it's true. It literally is true. Why do I need to be sorry for facts? It's true.
We're both in our 40s.
It's true.
Yeah, not
We're
true.
both in our 40s, Kay.
The disrespect, Shaka,
Yeah,
the
I'm not sure
disrespect.
about that.
All right, Frank LeBon.
Unbelievable, Kay.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Shocking. Shaka, does Zach Steffen need to leave Man City in order to seek regular game time? Is he good enough to play at the highest level?
The answer to that is yes. And after I thought he was outstanding today in the Community Shield. I understood the move to Manchester City, but a couple of years in, a couple of very good performances in, I think he needs to start looking for regular first-team football again. That's the best way to improve your game, and I think Zach Steffen should do that.
Next up, Dan the Orange Man says, and I'll come to you first, Nedum, how would you feel if you were in James Rodriguez or Sergio Aguero's shoes with both Ancelotti and Messi, who were the main reasons for these players joining their respective clubs, leaving this summer?
Well, you know, we can say they're the main reasons, but with James Rodriguez, he's playing in the Premier League, and with Sergio Aguero, he's playing for Barcelona. So ultimately, you know, it's a soft little cushion to say, oh, I'm disappointed that, you know, this has happened. But I think these players will be okay. I think Sergio will be okay playing for Barcelona with maybe Depay and Griezmann around him. I think he'll be okay. But with the James Rodriguez one, that is, you'd argue that's the more interesting piece of it. But he's somebody who's so talented. I'm sure if he doesn't want to be there, the option will come and he'll end up somewhere else. So we'll just have to keep an eye on those two.
Is this the footballing definition, Shaka, of first world pains?
Oh, without question it is. Without any kind of question. James Rodriguez, the out-and-out star at Everton, in the Premier League, playing for a manager, okay, it's not the manager who signed him, but playing for a manager who's incredibly accomplished in Rafa Benitez. And Kun Aguero, listen, I'm a little bit more sympathetic with Kun Aguero, who goes, it felt like with the intention of at least playing some club football with Lionel Messi, rejoining or joining his old friend at club level, where, you know, they shared such a friendship off the park, partnership on it with Argentina, and now all of a sudden that rug's been pulled out from under his feet. But as Nedum says, you know, listen, if you're going to be stranded somewhere, what better place to be to play a football?
Nedum?
I was just going to say, the one thing that would concern me is if Aguero and Messi are really good friends, and Messi told him to come but didn't tell him he was going to leave. So that would be somewhat of a concern. So I'm going to guess that Sergio maybe knew he was going to go.
Well, we'll see. With all the reports that maybe he's not too happy, we'll follow that one closely here, as you know. Nedum, Nora Lai says, should Man City sign Harry Kane now or go for Erling Haaland next summer?
You know, it's. I'll be honest, for me as a City guy, it's still very, very weird to be talking about players that cost this amount of money who are this talented. Because I remember from way back in the day, you know, there were times when they throw me up front, and that's, you know, look how much things have changed. So I think you can't disregard this season here, and you never know what's going to happen in this next year with Haaland and who's going to be interested and so on. And I think in Harry Kane, even though he's a little bit older than Haaland, I think he's still got a ton of years ahead of him where he can be really, really successful. So I would like them to be pursuing a player like him in this transfer window, because, as I say, nothing's guaranteed for the next year. And who knows, by the end of next season, by the end of this season, City might have a different future, might be in a different moment. So I just say seize the day and see what you can find this time round.
Yeah, live in the moment. Andas asks Shaka, this week the NFL celebrated the new inductees into the NFL Hall of Fame, and the former players got their gold jackets. Since the Premier League now does a Hall of Fame, do you think that they should adopt the gold jackets as well? Nedum and Shaka, how would you look in a gold jacket? I'll start with you, Shaka.
I'm not sure I can pull off a gold jacket, Kay. Though saying that, I can pull off most things. I've just never tried a gold jacket, I've found.
What's the loudest thing
Yes,
you've ever worn, Shaka?
Oh God! Oh no! I
Come on.
I don't wear loud things at all.
Goalies always wear loud things.
Well, goalie shirts, that's about it. But in terms of jackets, I am as middle of the road as they come.
All right, Shaka, that's you. Nadem, gold jacket.
Nadem likes
you ever worn a gold
loud clothes.
jacket?
Nadem.
No, Shaka, you know the difference that we have here. I'm going to have to go with the opposite opinion purely because there's a generation between us, because you are old enough to be my father. So as a consequence, whatever you say, I'll say the opposite. So that's what I'm prepared to go with. And as far as like Premier League legends go, I'm sure for your generation, you'd be considered for that. But you know, if by some miracle I'm in that consideration, it'll probably be in about 20 years or so. So I don't think it's right for me to answer the question now. But you know, I would love to see people like you wearing a gold jacket because you deserve it, Shaka, from your generation, from when the Premier League first started.
That sounds to me, Nadem, like you don't think you can pull the gold jacket off and you're just trying to shirk the question.
No, listen,
No,
I
don't
could
worry.
rip it off. I could rip it
Nadem
off.
had a gold jacket
I could
on last
happily
week
rip it off
Friday.
if I had it on.
Nadem was spotted out in Manchester in a gold jacket last Friday.
Well, were you speaking to your sources, Dad? Is that what was going on? Come on.
He
do
was
better.
speaking to his sources.
I heard it through the grapevine.
No, via a landline because that's that generation. All right.
Yeah. Kay, come on. Kay, I thought we were together on this here.
We are. I'm sorry. We are.
I thought we
I'm
had.
sorry.
After I brought ice cream, goat cheese, and red cherries, this is where we end up.
We'll be talking about that ice cream. Don't you worry. Death Crick says Grealish to City, Lukaku to Chelsea. Should United be working on hijacking the Kane deal or breaking the bank for Haaland to keep pace? Are they and Liverpool going to get left behind this year, Shaka?
Well, United had their business done very early in Jadon Sancho. They just did theirs so early that it feels like it's well, quite clearly it's already forgotten. The bigger challenge is Liverpool, who, listen, we've spoken about Fenway Sports Group's reluctance to spend big and the pandemic and how it's affected their finances. Maybe the fitness of Van Dijk proves the boost that they need in terms of keeping pace with the others. Well, I think everybody's quite happy going into this season. I still, as I said on the show, I still feel it's City and Chelsea are the favourites and second favourites. But if you're Liverpool, you're thinking we won with this exact side a couple of seasons ago. And Manchester United was sitting second for most of this season and have strengthened. So maybe they're quietly confident as well.
As a City man, Nadem, is there a fear that there could be some competition from Manchester United and Liverpool this year?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a fear as such. I think for the teams who are up at the top trying to win things, I think all they can handle is the stuff that's in front of them. I think whatever other sides are doing, I don't think they'll be too reliant upon that. I think you start the year from top to bottom in the Premier League feeling confident you can achieve something, and until otherwise happens, you know, that's the spirit, that's the mentality. And I think as Shaka was alluding to there, all the teams around City have had a nice boost, but City have had one as well. But the difference is, you know, they'll have a gold logo on their sleeve, whereas the other teams won't. And I think that will carry you just that little bit extra as well. So I don't think it's right to fear the opposition, because I think City do have the talent in play to be able to win any game against anybody. But it just shows again that, you know, they're going to have to be at their best and perform to their best if they want to find success, as we saw last year in the split in the season in terms of how they were quite average in the first half of the season, but then you'd probably say exceptional in the second.
Collins Cheche asks Shaka, as the window stands, Grealish to City, Sancho to United and Lukaku to Chelsea, who has the bigger impact for their club?
Lukaku to Chelsea. That's easy. I mean, Chelsea needed that out and out number 9 more so than United needed Sancho or City needed Grealish. I think easily that's the biggest of the difference makers in the three.
Nadem, Eddie asks, if you came out of retirement today and were given the choice of playing alongside Messi at Manchester City or representing England in the World Cup, which one would you choose?
Messi at Man City, I'll be honest with you. Well, for me, like, England playing for a national team, because I can also play for Nigeria, that need to go out there. But the international football is terrific and all that stuff. England don't really have a true pedigree at sort of international level, barring, you know, one famous year in the 60s when Xhaka went to the game and so on. But aside from that, there's not that really big history. But as far as players go, in someone like Lionel Messi, this is an iconic player. You know, when I played against him one time, and when he walked on the pitch, he was like he wasn't a normal type of person. So to get the chance to play with somebody like that on a week-to-week basis, you know, the amount of stuff you could learn, and the way you'd have to be at the very peak of your powers just to try and have the slightest chance if you were in training and so on. Like, yeah, that's what I would choose. And I know some people would disagree, but, you know, I love what Lionel Messi has brought to football, because he's inspired so many people behind him.
Do you have a little pep in your step at training when there's a player? Well, obviously, you were talking about the best player in the world, but when there's a player of immense quality in a training session, are you like on the ball to try and impress them, Nedum?
No, just as a defender, you're just trying your best not to get humiliated by them. Like there've been a few players like that when the coach is like naming the teams, and you hear someone's name get called out, and you're hoping that yours follows with it, because you know if it doesn't, like there's carnage. Like I was lucky enough to have played with, you know, some great. At a point when not every player was great, was when Robinho was there, and he was there alongside Alano. And if those two were on the same team, then you know that team had won, guaranteed, no matter what the game was. So you're always hoping that your name would follow that, and a lot of the time it wasn't, and I didn't get many wins whenever I was playing against those two players.
Oh, nice to know that little tidbit, a little bit of insight there. Okay, for both of you, I'll start with you, Shaka. Nkosi Gold says the last time Shaka and Nedum were in for extra time, they talked about their favourite desserts. Now, what about their favourite breakfast cereals? And UK, what's your favourite? All right, Shaka, favourite breakfast cereal.
My favorite breakfast cereal, I don't know. You know, the only thing I would go for more than most is granola. I like granola as a cereal. Does that count?
Yeah, it does, but I mean, it's a bit boring, isn't it,
All right,
Shaka?
I have granola as a cereal, and then after that, it just kind of depends what I'm in the mood for.
Nedum, what's your favourite cereal?
So I don't really eat cereal anymore, but when I was younger, I used to absolutely 2-foot attack Frosted Flakes. We're talking by the pound. Pour that into the biggest bowl possible, fill it up, and even slam it in the microwave a little bit, so it's just got a little bit of something to it. And yeah, it's kind of probably one of the...
You can't microwave cereal.
But it is what
You're doing it wrong.
I can't hear you.
That's so wrong.
Sorry, I've tuned out. I can't hear you, Shaka. I can't hear you, Shaka. I've moved on. You eat goat
I can't
cheese
believe
ice cream.
neither of you got the right
cereal in the
answer.
microwave.
How are you going to
What's the right
microwave
answer?
your cereal?
The right
You
answer
have to
is
microwave
Just for a
the
second to
milk.
warm the
Get it
milk.
warm. You can't
It's
microwave
to
the
warm the
cereal.
milk. It's to warm.
you can microwave
Shaka,
ready bread
Shaka.
and porridge.
I was going
What?
to say, in these days, I have overnight oats. And I like a tropical overnight oat with a bit of mango, papaya in there.
Oh, God.
That's nice. But when I was a child,
I'm partial
that's
to an
what I
overnight
had.
Goodness
oat.
me.
But neither of you got the right
How does
answer.
overnight oats
day.
get into this?
Back in my day, we used to just go out and run and just
Overnight
eat grass,
oats.
which we cut ourselves. Back in my day.
Shaka, I cannot believe the
Don't worry,
disrespect from
Nedum.
start to finish
Anybody who
on this
puts their
show.
cereal in the microwave, that's a jailable offense.
Okay. I'm just going to end it on saying that you both got the wrong answer, because the right answer is Cocoa Pops. I'm not too sure what they're called here in the United States, but basically once you finish them, you've got chocolate milk as well. So Cocoa Pops or chocolate Rice Krispies, I don't know what you guys call it here. That is the best.
Yeah, there's Cocoa Krispies.
That's it.
And what's the other one? And there's chocolate Frosted Flakes or whatever it's called. Chocolate whatever.
The
Those.
Krispies, correct.
Yeah,
Well,
I've got kids. We got all those things.
I think what we found out is all three of us don't eat cereal anymore, though, because we're boring and a bit older.
Exactly, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
thanks so much for all your questions in this one. Always brilliant, especially the food ones. We love them the same way that Shaka and I love goat cheese and red cherry ice cream. Nedum, it is delicious. Do not knock it until you've tried it. And do not forget,
We have a cultured palate.
yes,
It's
a cultured palate.
Cultured palate,
Not
you
a
call
common,
that, Keith.
not a common one.
A young palate. A young palate. A young palate.
I love it. All right,
Yeah, look at
that's
you.
it for the latest edition of Extra Time. Do not forget that ESPN FC is available 7 days a week.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN Plus.